evening and welcome. Security is being stepped up in Dublin ahead of the funerals of two men shot dead in gangland attacks in the past week. New security measures, including a permanent armed Garda unit, have been promised for the capital. However, senior Gardaí have voiced concerns that the increased security will affect resources elsewhere.
The government and the Garda authorities have moved to allay public fear and concern in the wake of two gangland killings in Dublin. But the aftermath of the violence of the last 5 days was still evident today. The place where Eddie Hutch Sr. was shot dead remains a crime scene. There were more Garda checkpoints on the streets of Dublin today, but the announcement of a new armed unit for Dublin to face down the criminal gangs has been criticised by the two Garda associations.
We think it will have a positive effect. However, we are concerned about the impact it will have on policing generally, because these people are not new Gardaí. They're being redeployed from other duties, and consequently they won't be available in those duties to deliver service to the public.
We welcome the announcement in relation to the setting up of the unit, but the difficulty we have is that 5 million is enough, but the 55 personnel that are now going into this specialised unit is going to be asset stripped from the regular, so you can't really call it saturated policing when you're only taking from the same pool.
Gardaí say they have made significant progress in the murder investigations. Following the attack at the Regency Hotel, they say they've identified some of the six-man gang, whom they say are Irish, not contract killers from abroad. They also believe they will secure vital DNA and forensic evidence from the getaway car used in the murder of Eddie Hutch Sr., found abandoned here in Drumcondra. Those working with the families and victims of drug trafficking and organised crime say the extent of the problem needs to be recognised.
People are ground down by the day-to-day reality of living with this, with the levels of fear and intimidation, and everyone now who's involved at gang level is part of that. It's not coming from any particular gang, it's the whole culture that's generated around that is a culture of fear. That affects absolutely everybody in the community. It doesn't just affect the people using drugs, it doesn't just affect their families, it affects everybody. We're looking at communities where traditionally people, supported each other, neighbours knew each other's business, looked out for each other. We've gotten to a stage where people walk through their own areas with their eyes down, don't want to see anything, don't want to mind their own business, and that's doing huge damage to everyday life for everybody.
The murders of David Byrne and Eddie Hutch Sr. bring to over 230 the number of people who have died in gangland violence since the murder of Veronica Guerin 20 years ago. Gardaí say they're now drawing up plans for the funerals of Eddie Hutch Sr. and David Byrne, which will allow people to mourn the loss of their loved ones in a peaceful and dignified manner. But they also say they're also on the alert for any possible retaliatory attacks in the coming days or weeks. Paul Reynolds, RTE News, Ballybough, Dublin.